New videos every day.
Life, wisdom, psyche truth, massage.
Okay, this is Athena, Jezik. It's almost election day, and we would like to know if you're going to vote, who you think you may vote for, why, and if you're not going to vote, let us know why you're not going to vote. And maybe I'll reveal my secrets too. Thank you, and here we go. We're going to talk a little bit about the face and the, not the face, excuse me, the neck and the scalp. So here we go. Checking the neck, the range of motion, just rocking back and forth, back and forth. The thing that you want to do as a therapist is really get comfortable with what you're doing with. It's almost like the artist's hands, like a sculptor. The person's body becomes like a medium, and you can work on this hunk of clay very efficiently as you practice it. And this is just a little occipital base release that I'm going to do here to relax the muscle. There's a little bit of tension in the rotation, even though it looks like it's a good rotation. We can feel some restrictions going on. So let's take that down. And it's releasing. And then letting the head be pulled a little bit. Okay. Let's work from the hairline and just give some scalp massage. Again, as I have said before, you want to get the skin to move, not just the hair follicles, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure onto the skull. Some people won't understand how delicate the bones and what's underneath there are, but there are some people who are so sensitive that any amount of pressure they feel like they're being a little bit compromised. So be aware that there's different sensitivities that people have, particularly when it comes up to their head and their face. Feet sometimes are sensitive. Sometimes people who suffer from headaches a lot are more sensitive in the head. So be mindful of that. Okay, now I'm going to rotate the head to the side by placing this hand and then rolling it onto the hand and working up the back of the head. Okay, taking the whole kind of side, this whole side of the head, and then to change sides, do the same thing. Place the hand here, rotate the head to the other side. It's free moving, you can move it up and down. That's how stable your hand is underneath. The other thing that's important to remember for therapists is you want to let the person on the table feel like you have a hold of them. If you're moving them or stretching them, that you have a good hold on their body. Not too tight and not too loose where it feels like they're going to be dropped or have something drop, an arm or a leg or a head, because they're better able to relax if they feel very safe with what you're doing as far as holding them when you begin to move them around. So be mindful of that as well. Okay. So there's different directions to do the neck. First of all, as you can probably see underneath, I'm stretching that neck upward. Now we can take the head in a side bend position where you want to hold that neck steady and just let it come to the side. And same thing with the other side, holding the neck steady. Now you're going to find as you work with different people, their necks oftentimes are extremely guarded. they won't move their neck. They'll hold it really tight for you. It's hard to get them sometimes to unlock those muscles and let it go into involuntary movement. So if that happens to you, just do the best you can. And I'll show you what I usually do when people won't turn their head very well, is I'll get under there and I'll still stretch it, and I'll just do what I can do, as little motion as they'll give me. If this is all they're going to give me, I'll keep my fingers working up the muscle of the neck while I'm working around in circles. And eventually you can get it to turn a little bit more. There have been a number of people that have told me that I'm the only one that they've known that has been able to unlock their necks. So when you do the rotations and the different directional range of motions, putting a slight traction in there, I believe, is what makes the difference between my neck work and maybe other neck work. Is I'm constantly giving a little traction. You want to be careful with that. You don't want to just like yank on the head. It's a traction where you're getting more into the fascial structure of the body, more into almost feels like you're stretching the skin. You're really not, because you're going deeper than the skin, but it is a little traction. But it's not a pull where you're pulling on the bones. It's like a energetic pull on the fascia, so you're feeling the fascia. You can also get a pretty good idea what's going on down the spine when you can connect in with that, and you can feel if there's resistance going down the spine, if there's someplace stuck, or if there's a lot of free flow. So that'll give you some of the things to work with and experiment with, see what works for you. And then, of course, getting into the muscles in here. Now there's an area back behind the ear that does connect some of the neck muscle into it, and that's a nice thing to also pay attention to while you're doing neck work. And then a more advanced technique, of course, is getting the fingers into the base of the spine, or base of the skull, and check the hyoid for what it's doing. Sometimes you have to position your hands differently depending on where you are on the body. But I'm just sensing the hyoid. The hyoid is a little bone that goes across the throat area. It's a floating bone, It doesn't attach to the skeleton anywhere. It does play a large part in neck issues because it is all attached down to muscles. So getting it to float freely, feeling like it's not being restricted, is an important piece to the neck work. Okay, so a little more range of motion. We're going side bending, rotation, flexion, and then the extension, holding the neck and letting the head drop back. When you do the extensions, you want to be real careful about that. You don't want to scrunch the neck. You want to keep a traction with it as you're letting that head move. And then you can put a variation in there of side bending or rotation, and then take a side bend with it and actually rotate. Now here you're rotation and then taking it into a side bend. See how that goes? Rotation, side bend. Rotation, side bend as you're rotating it back up. It feels very natural, and again, you're following the body. You're not thinking how it should go. You're allowing your hands to feel where it's going, and you follow it. Give it a little traction, open it up, keep it relaxed. Don't take it too quickly so the person on the table doesn't have the response of pushback. For protection, it's a natural response to do that. So anytime you get muscles that won't loosen up, it's because of some reason that the body's not willing to let you in. Or if you go too quickly into areas, it'll naturally do that. It's the way it protects itself. So be mindful of that, be respectful of the body, have a good time, and if you are one of those that's going to go out and vote, vote and let us know what you're going to do. Thank you. R.I.P.
Dun, 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 dun.